Hello, my dear friends. It's Carrie at holisticspsychic.com. How's it going out there? Today, I'm going to share insights around an age-old question that's been coming up a lot recently, which is, how do I deal with people who don't understand my path? Many of us are reclaiming our commitment to our spiritual path, and maybe some of us are committing to our spiritual path or our path of personal growth for the first time. But as we are renewing our commitment to our path, there comes up a very natural concern that maybe the way that I'm growing in my path and my life might bring up dynamics that result in rejection or abandonment or cold shouldering or ghosting. And all of these concerns are valid in the way that old paradigm thinking, which many of us were raised in, does sort of support a little bit of a cold shouldering for anybody who goes above and beyond the sphere of the paradigm that they were conditioned to believe. So this is why I'm talking about this today. Again, we really do have a great awakening that's happening in life, and we don't want to feel held back because of fear of disapproval from other people. In fact, one of the first things that I'm going to say is that growth and change really is the only consistent thing in life. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all here learning and growing and experiencing and sharing. And as a part of that process, it's very natural to fall in and out of alignment with the people in our lives. It's a normal, natural process. This is something that I discovered many years ago when I had one of my earlier big spurts of spiritual awakening, which I would say was in my mid to late teens. I realized at that time that my circle of friends was shifting. People that I used to love hanging out with, I really didn't love hanging out with anymore. And I was discovering and making new friends that were more aligned with the mindset that I was in at the time, the path that I was on, the vibration I was holding. And so very early in my life, I realized this is a very natural and normal dynamic that happens. It's not an indicator that anything is wrong or bad in our lives. But a lot of us, for some reason, maybe we're conditioned to think that it is wrong to fall out of alignment with someone, and it's not. It's a normal part of human nature as we grow and develop. However, for those of us who are experiencing struggles and challenges with our core people in our lives because of our growth processes and because of the path that we're choosing, this video is for you. I'm about to share some of my top insights that you can utilize to navigate through whatever challenges you are experiencing. So number one, I want to say that as adults, there's not a person on this earth that is morally obligated to explain themselves to another person. As adults, we are allowed to think and believe and choose in alignment with our free will. So that's number one. Number two, we're not obligated to live in alignment with someone else's point of view. We're not obligated to live in alignment with someone else's belief system, values, paradigms, or expectations. We're not required to do that in life. So liberate yourself from that. At the same time, I'll also say that nobody is obligated to understand you, right? It's not an obligation for people who are around you to understand where you're coming from. So be in the space of remembering that we're all on our own sacred journeys. Each person is on their own unique journey based on their unique experiences, their unique vibration, their unique personality. We're all here learning, growing, experiencing, discovering. And the best that we can do really is to allow your presence, your energy, your vibration, your attitude, the way you interact with people, let that speak for itself. That's probably the most empowering thing that a person who's having challenges with the people around them because of the choices you're making to grow and expand in your evolution of consciousness in ways that might be different than the paradigm you were raised in. Let yourself be liberated from needing other people to understand you, and liberate yourself from feeling obligated to live in alignment with what other people's expectations or belief systems or values are. Again, one of the best ways to deal with people that don't understand the path that you're on is just to lead through example. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to say anything in particular. On the most fundamental level, I would say just allow your presence and energy to speak for itself. If you are embodying positive energy, you're being a person who's committed to contributing to goodness in life, that's going to come across to other people's awareness fields subconsciously. And this is connected to a very valuable insight that I learned from one of my teachers along the way, which I'm going to share with you now. Here's the thing. When you can present your energy, which is a combination of your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you express yourself, when you can convey yourself in ways that carry an air of lightness and certainty and confidence, then people will have confidence in you. But here's what happens a lot of times. Some of us might be questioned by the people in our, let's say, our family of origin. This is where it most commonly happens. You're growing in a direction and you're exploring ideals that's different than what your family of origin has raised you to believe in. So oftentimes what happens is we ourselves develop a little bit of a sense of uncomfortability, like, well, what if somebody doesn't agree with this? Or what if somebody confronts me about this? It's almost like it's your own uneasiness that makes people question where you're at with yourself in your life. If you are appearing as being uneasy and unsure and not confident, that is going to make the people that love you feel a little bit concerned and ask questions. But if you can embody the energy of confidence and certainty about whatever it is that you're exploring or whatever ways and directions you're growing in your life, if you're embodying a positive light and energy around that, chances are that other people are going to feel comfortable with you. Let's dig a little deeper in looking at how to troubleshoot some potential scenarios that could come up. Okay, so inevitably at some point, you're probably going to find yourself in situations where you're having conversations around what your beliefs are, what your path is, and things of the like. So this is where you want to embody an intelligent use of languaging. Think more along the lines of relating with people in ways that they can understand. Greeting people where they are. I'll use an example of how I might utilize an intelligent use of languaging in my own life. As most of you know, my primary path professionally is as a psychic reader and shamanic healing practitioner. Now, I also have certifications in various modalities of life coaching, and I'm a long-time yoga instructor. So when I meet people and we're having casual conversations around, oh, like, where do you live? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. I don't always necessarily bust right into telling people, oh, I'm a professional psychic reader. If I'm sensing that that's outside of a person's paradigm and it might just completely throw them for a loop if I bust into saying something like that, then I'll start by saying, oh, I'm a yoga teacher who specializes in wellness coaching. Or I'll say something like, I'm a life coach who specializes in transformation success. Whatever it is, I'll start by something that's a little bit more broad, a little bit more accessible, something that people have maybe a little bit more of a broad awareness of. And then as the conversation deepens, or as I get to know that person a little bit more, then I'll share the deeper things of like, oh yes, well, this is one of the modalities that I work with, or I was born naturally really intuitive, which led to me having a career in this, and now I specialize in helping people on their paths. But you get what I'm saying. Be in the awareness of engaging with people in conversation in ways that you sense are going to be connected to their present paradigm in ways that they will understand. You don't always have to share things that you think someone else might be uncomfortable with. Again, allowing your own presence and energy to speak for itself is a really good idea in general. When it comes to things having to do with personal growth, spiritual awakening, and spiritual path working, I find that this is something that most people do have a general interest in, although we do come from a variety of different backgrounds and upbringings and cultures and things like that. So being in the spirit of mutual exchange of information in ways that we can all sort of learn and grow and be inspired by is a good idea as well. So here's the thing. We are responsible for what we think, what we say, how we act, the energy we exude and express, but we are not responsible for other people's points of view. Other people are allowed to have whatever point of view they want, and whatever other people's points of view are not a reflection of us. It's a reflection of them. So we can practice not taking other people's points of view personally, which ends up being something that we can turn into a mindfulness practice to support our growth even more. So really the best way to deal with people that don't understand your path is for you to not base your self-worth on what other people think, right? Don't base your self-worth on what other people think. Again, we're all here learning and growing. We're all at different levels of awareness. Be more in the spirit of holding your presence, your energy in light, open ways that people feel comfortable and have an ease in approaching you. Be open to spirited conversations that can support broader perspectives with everyone. And when you do run across people who might feel uneasy about whatever it is that you're sharing, or whatever your path is, or whatever your beliefs are, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. They're allowed to disagree with you if they want to. Again, it's not a reflection of you. Don't let your sense of self-value, self-love, and self-worth be based on other people's opinions. All you need to do is be clear within yourself around what your intentions are with your growth on your path. Be willing to share with people in spirited ways when it comes up. And for people who aren't interested, that's okay too. We have to be okay with it. If you are a person who's in the midst of having awkward dynamics around this, then the other thing that I would suggest would be to find ways to cultivate positive, supportive community. This can be through social media. It can be through being involved with what your personal growth interests are, attending events that are connected to your personal growth interests, with the idea not only of learning, but connecting with like-minded people. So again, it's very normal to have shifts of dynamics. in how you relate to people as we are all respectively shifting and growing and changing, just allowing that process while you are staying aligned with crafting, cultivating positive, supportive community. Keep an open energy about you, an open heart, an open mind, and just allow yourself to flow with what feels comfortable. Just allow people to be where they are. Again, we're all on our own sacred journey, and our journeys are all taking us in the directions that are aligned with our respective highest paths and callings. So I hope this information supports and helps you on your journey. Be open, allow, trust, go with the flow, be a positive source of light, be contributing to goodness in the world, and allow everything else to just flow in harmony with that. All right, guys, I'm going to chime out now, but I will see you next week. Blessings, namaste, and much love.